Bitcoin mining, the financial basics. It could be said that every currency is basically created out of nothing. I stated in an earlier video that there are only two ways to acquire Bitcoin, and they are buy Bitcoin from an exchange or trader, or mine Bitcoin. And mining is the process by which new Bitcoin is brought into circulation. All currencies are created one way or another out of nothing, if you think about it. And all commodities and financial assets are created from nothing in some way. Gold is physically mined from rock, which was originally arguably worth nothing. Fiat currency, i.e. dollars, pounds, euros, etc., are printed by governments literally at will. Stocks and shares are created by companies and are worthless on day one of the company's existence. With the exception of fiat currencies, everything then relies on supply and demand and the market to set its value. Bitcoin is the same. It is brought into circulation through a different type of mining than gold is, but the principle is identical. Where gold is dug out of rock, Bitcoin is dug out of a computer program. Trust me when I say that if this seems strange to you, then so would gold mining if you'd never encountered it before, or drilling for oil. The technicalities of how Bitcoin mining works, though, are as irrelevant to you as the technicalities of how a bank works. They just work, that's it. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that people acquire Bitcoin through buying it or mining it. And as it increases in value, they become wealthier. As I write this, Bitcoin has again exceeded its highest previous value and is now worth over $1,200. Bitcoin will continue to be mined until it is all in circulation. That is, until 21 million Bitcoin have been created. That's the protocol, the original program that dictates that, and it can never be changed. It will be mined until 2140, and the total never exceeding that 21 million. Because of this finite amount, and because its usage and popularity as a totally independent currency is growing, its ultimate value could exceed tens of thousands of dollars. Not my words. These are the words of supposed experts on the subject. But don't ever make the mistake of thinking it's too late to get into or start mining your own Bitcoin. People were saying that it was too late when it hit $1 in value. And when I started mining Bitcoin, it was $230, and people were telling me I had left it too late. Really? I have no doubt that it will continue to increase. When Bitcoin is valued, it's always given a dollar value for one whole Bitcoin, but it's important to remember that Bitcoin breaks down into 8 decimal places. So you can literally spend or exchange a tiny amount of Bitcoin, which is, by the way, another of its great attractions to business. The pound or dollar can be split into only 1/100th. Namely 1 penny, but try spending 1 penny these days anywhere. You can break Bitcoin down into a smaller unit as 1/100th of a millionth Bitcoin. This is known as a Satoshi. So you can actually spend even less than 1 penny's worth of Bitcoin. Well, if you can find something that cheap to buy, of course. This makes its potential for commerce, especially online commerce, highly attractive. Imagine online being able to sell things for a penny or less, something that you would never do with pounds, dollars, and so on. So we know that Bitcoin mining is how Bitcoin is created, but what we also need to know is how to get involved in Bitcoin mining. It used to be possible to set up the Bitcoin mining program on a basic laptop computer, but sadly those days have gone. There is too much value now in Bitcoin for that to be possible. But also Just as it is expensive to buy shares in a gold mine, it is expensive to buy shares in Bitcoin mining. Expensive, but not impossible. It is possible to buy either a mining pool share or to actually buy mining power. Now, like everything in life, the very wealthy could and sometimes do set up their own Bitcoin mining operation, but this is far too expensive for most of us. What most of us are restricted to, apart from buying Bitcoin directly on an exchange or from a trader, is acquiring a small slice of Bitcoin mining action. Before I go any further with this, I need to explain that when you buy or rent mining power, in whatever way, someone always gets paid a commission or referral or finder's fee for bringing you along to the mining company. So anyone getting into Bitcoin mining needs to understand this. Someone is always going to get paid when you join. There are two basic ways to start Bitcoin mining for most of us. One is to buy hashing power, and the second is to buy a share or shares in an existing mining pool. Now the first, hashing power, involves buying equipment or renting it and having someone or some firm mine for you in exchange for a percentage of what you are mining. The second involves buying a right to a percentage of the overall mining results or mining income. The second method is how I do it. I receive a small amount of Bitcoin every day from my mining pool shares. I like the way I do it because it comes with other benefits as well. Now, I mentioned one of them already, and that is I get paid when people join us because of my recommendation. But there are better and bigger reasons, and I will cover these in a later video. One of the most important things to know about mining for Bitcoin is that you must be able to see that who you are using or that you are linked to is genuinely mining. You can't just take their word for it. It could be a scam. On the next slide, I have an image that demonstrates this. And this image can be found by anyone at an independent website, which I have written down here, i.e. blockchain.info/pause. I'll pause for a little while and let you write that down. Okay, moving on. This is a snapshot from the 2nd of March 2017 of who is mining the most as a percentage of the total being mined, and the figures of course will change constantly. They're updated literally by the minute all day long. It is fair to say though that the bigger mining concerns, let's say 5% or bigger, are almost impossible to get into without a substantial investment. And that's if you can get in at all. If we look at the absolute biggest, like Antpool, Bitfury and so on, they generally do not let anyone else in. They just get on with their own equipment, which they actually build themselves, by the way, and they mine for their own benefits. F2 Pool is the same, I believe, BWCom, via BTC, and BTCC Pool. A large number of those, by the way, are Chinese or part Chinese concerns. The purpose of that image is simply to show you that if you're going to get involved in mining itself, it is helpful if you can see the operation you join at that website, and preferably before you join you can confirm that, oh yes, this is someone who is clearly mining and is represented on the pie chart. Just quickly going to go back to that for a second. It doesn't mean, by the way, that if someone isn't showing on this pie chart that they're not mining. I should make that clear. It's just these are the biggest, the ones that make a big enough impact to be listed. There are lots of others doing even smaller percentages of the total, but actually legitimately mining. The one I'm with is BitClub Network, and they are more often than not showing anywhere between 2.5% and 5% on that chart, but they are growing all the time, and we expect to start hitting 10% of the total, that's 10% of the entire chart, by year end 2017, as they buy new equipment all the time. But more about them later. Why would you mine rather than simply buy Bitcoin and hold it? That's a good question, and one that deserves a thorough answer. Ultimately, the answer is that you wouldn't unless you knew with a degree of certainty that the package you were acquiring with the organization you joined to mine with was going to be worth more to you in the long run than simply buying the Bitcoin. That is a subject that I'm going to expand upon later in this series, but for now let me just tell you that my package has paid for itself over and over again during the last 20 months, as this is written, that I've been involved, and it just gets better and better.